gotta cleanse the space. I don't even know. Yep, I am definitely one of those spiritual bitches. So, if you're not here for it, I suggest you go ahead and click off. I had to go ahead and cleanse the space of any negative type energy, because your girl has been going through it with these niggas. Again, that's why this video is about self-love today, and I'm actually really excited about it because it's not just for other people, it's a reminder to myself as well, because I am a Libra. So you know what I do best is giving advice, just not being able to take my own advice. So I don't really have much to say since it's the second video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Once again, I have my notes on my computer. So if you read the title, this video is the importance of self-love and how to get there. I just want to make it clear that self-love is not a journey that ends. Similar to healing, it's never something that's over, nor is it linear. It's just something that you kind of learn more about over time and get better with over time, but it's an ongoing journey. It's never over. So just want to put that out there. By no means am I going to consider myself an expert at self-love or anything. I'm definitely still trying to work on it myself, but I think that with all the shit that I've been through within the past 3 years definitely qualifies me to make this video. So once again, I made notes because, you know, I'm a rambler. We're gonna start with what self-love is. It's pretty self-explanatory. Self-love is when you love yourself. Duh, right? Why is it important, you might ask? A lot of people don't really take self-love seriously in my perspective. I feel like people kind of confuse confidence or cockiness with self-love. Just because you're confident or pretend to be confident doesn't mean you love yourself. Those are not interchangeable. You can be confident all day but still not be taking the necessary steps to love yourself or doing the things that someone who loves themselves would do. I don't know if that makes sense. We're gonna get deeper into what I'm talking about in a second. Why is self-love so important? In my first video, if you guys already watched, I kind of touched on it. If you have not watched my last video, hopefully I can figure out how to put it up here. If not, it will be in a link in the description below. I was spitting in that video just like I'm gonna spit in this one. Anyway, as I was saying, the importance of self-love. So if you lack self-love, your relationships are gonna mirror that, you know. Self-love and knowing your worth kind of go hand in hand. You don't really know what you're worth and what you deserve until you love yourself, you know. That's why so many people accept less than and the bare minimum. That's why so many accept that, because they don't know their worth. They don't know, hey, I deserve so much better than what this person is willing to give me. And so that's why it's important. And I feel like it's not just with romantic relationships, it's with platonic relationships. It doesn't even have to be in relationships. It's just with how people talk to you and how people treat you. If you love yourself and you have the confidence and know, hey, I am important, you are not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to do X, Y, and Z. You know, you just know how to carry yourself and approach situations and people better when you know your worth. And that all goes into self-love. Okay, misconceptions, and I put in parentheses the ugly part of self-love, i.e. shadow work, being honest with yourself and admitting your problems. I feel like once again social media puts their claws in shit and ruins everything. A lot of people, when they think of self-love, they just think of like taking baths and lighting candles and listening to music and taking yourself on dates, and all of that is great, and all of that does for sure go into self-love, but that's not the only acts of self-love. Sometimes self-love is not as pretty as that, you know. Sometimes self-love is being honest with yourself. It's setting boundaries with people that constantly, you know, break them or disrespect you. It's letting go of that toxic relationship because you know you deserve better. It's admitting what you did wrong or what you've done wrong and trying to better yourself from that situation, you know. It's basically just, I mean, not just, but it also involves the truth, I think. Admitting that, hey, I have flaws, I have this type of issue, and I know I need to work on it. That's also self-love, because you know, we're always growing, we're always healing. Like I said, once again, none of this is linear, so you're always going to have things that you can work on and you can better yourself with, and that is a part of self-love, because you're not doing it for other people. You know, you're bettering you for you. You want to be a better person for yourself. It's all about you. So in order to love yourself fully, you have to be honest with yourself and see where your problems lie. And that's why I said shadow work for sure. A lot of people don't know what shadow work is. I'm probably gonna insert a definition because once again, I'm not great at describing things. Shadow work for me has done a lot. You know, it's opened my eyes to a lot. It's basically, you know, just digging deeper and trying to figure out why you respond to things that you respond to. It's just figuring out why you act the way you do. Everyone has a shadow, and it does not matter how much shadow work you do, you're always going to have a shadow, because trauma is just a part of the human experience, sadly. None of us have not experienced trauma. You know, we all have trauma. We all have things that have happened to us that have stuck with us, that shaped us into the people that we are today. And your shadow self kind of guides you subconsciously. You know, your shadow self is who reacts to things when things go wrong, when situations aren't ideal. The way you react, the way you feel, the way you respond to people, that's all your shadow self. So that could be your unhealed child self, that could be anything that happened to you in the past. It doesn't even have to be that far back. Anything that's happened to you that stuck with you that you didn't know or that you don't realize is kind of shaping how you interact with others and just how you conduct your relationships now. So shadow work is extremely important, because even though you're always going to have a shadow, you and your shadow needs to become one. It doesn't need to be like me versus my shadow. A lot of situations, people are going against their shadow. I definitely feel like in a way I have bullied my shadow self. My shadow, I realized, is my childhood self. Pre-spiritual Asia. She didn't really know much. Quick interruption. This is Asia from the future. As I'm editing, I realized, literally as I'm talking about how I bullied my child self, I'm bullying my child self. I'm just like, oh, I didn't know much. I'm kind of talking down on younger me, as if that's a different person from who I am now. I don't know. I just wanted to add that in there. So I'm clearly still working on that, but back to the video. I didn't really know about boundaries or how people should treat me. I think I've always had some sort of confidence, and I've always loved myself, but I never really put in the necessary work for that. And I also sought validation in other people for a very long time. And I feel like to an extent I still do, because, you know, childhood trauma, it is what it is. But once again, that is something I am working on, actively working on. I think shadow work is extremely important. At the end of this video, I'm going to include some prompts to get everyone started if you're interested in doing shadow work. But even if you don't do shadow work, therapy. So many people need therapy. I am currently in therapy, and it is helping a lot. I feel like it's such a negative stigma against therapy still to this day, and we're in 2022. That's crazy. A part of self-love is healing. And in order to heal, you have to be honest with yourself. And sometimes you might need help, and you have to admit that to yourself too. And that does not make you weak. None of that. A mental health video is also coming in the future, because I think mental health is also a part of self-love. You know, you can't fully love yourself if you're not healthy mentally, or if you're ignoring or neglecting your mental health, because that is extremely important. So lastly, how to truly love yourself. That's really a loaded topic, because there's not one way to love yourself, but there are multiple steps you can take to get there. Self-love, once again, I pretty much already listed everything, but you know, working on yourself, doing your shadow work, trying to heal your inner trauma, your inner shadow, trying to heal yourself is a part of self-love, but also being easy on yourself. I know a lot of us, especially me, I'm very, very hard on myself with like the decisions I make, the actions I take. Sometimes I say the wrong things. We are all very hard on ourselves at times, and you just have to remember you're human. You have to look at yourself like you would look at your best friend. You make mistakes, but you're gonna forgive you you'd forgive your best friend, so forgive yourself, you know? Don't be so hard on you. You're great. You're doing great, because this life shit is hard. So if you made it this far, you're doing amazing. So just take it easy, take a breath, but also still hold yourself accountable, you know? And as far as I don't want to say the less deep things because they're still important, but just treat yourself, spoil yourself, as long as, you know, as long as it's within reason and you got it, you're not like forfeiting rent to buy a bag. Like, as long as it's okay, you got the means, spoil yourself, you know, you deserve it. Show yourself that you're your biggest supporter, and treat yourself as if you would treat a best friend or a significant other, you know? Love yourself, spoil yourself, date yourself. If you want to take yourself out on a date, do that. If you want to buy whatever, do it. But just show you that you deserve finer things, and you will provide them for yourself, and you don't always have to get gifts from other people. You can give yourself gifts, you feel me? So as far as journal prompts go, I keep a journal. That's another thing. As far as the shadow work, you should have a journal. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's important to write this stuff down. I said this in the last video, I'm gonna say it again. Writing things down helps so much, and it's just not the same typing it in your phone. Don't get me started on energies, because I will talk your ear off about the energy that your phone radiates and how it's not good for you. But people are looking at me like, this spiritual ass bitch. Yeah, that's me. Let me look through here just to see, just to give everyone some ideas. So I think you should have journals for different things. You should definitely have a shadow work journal, because shadow work is very, very deep. It's very draining, and it's not a negative energy per se, but it is very, very serious. And it's not, you wouldn't want to shadow work in the same journal you're trying to manifest in if you are into scripting. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ignore it. Yeah, so just keeping a separate journal for shadow work, or even just your daily thoughts, because a lot of people like to journal on a regular basis. I think journals should be separate, so keep certain things separate. So you should have a journal specifically dedicated to shadow work. Some of these prompts I definitely took from other videos that I looked up. I'm definitely not taking credit for any of these. One of the prompts was, what negative emotions am I most comfortable with? Do I cling to certain emotions on a day-to-day basis because they feel normal? Another prompt I did was, who am I and what am I most excited about myself? I don't know if the wording makes sense, but basically, who are you and what do you love and what gets you excited about you? Just repeated it. Another prompt I did was, am I okay with the fact that not everyone will like me? Why or why not? How does this make me feel? Here's a good one. When was the last time I witnessed self-destructive behavior in myself? Describe it and the emotions I had at the time. Another one was, how have I internalized my parents' judgment? That one is very, very helpful if you have parent issues like me. And lastly, a good one was, write the words I need to hear right now. I know this video was way shorter than what I wanted it to be, kind of way shorter than the last one too, but I really, really hope it helped. I love you guys so much, and hopefully I will see you very soon. Bye.